Teoscar Hernandez. What's your grade for him?
He gets a C minus. I thought I was going to give Teoscar a higher grade, but I'm digging through his season and I can't do it. Teoscar Hernandez, if you told us before the season, this man is going to suck, and I mean suck, for 4 months out of the year, an 84 WRC plus in April, 82 in May, 46 in July. And then in September, the month the Mariners needed desperately the most at the plate, Teoscar rolls out a 76 WRC plus. There's just not enough, I think, from Teoscar Hernandez to warrant him a grade any higher. His defense was fine. His defense was 68th percentile rated on Fangraphs. Outs above average had him right at 0. So the defensive value, again, is just like kind of hard to judge there. And his offensive profile took a step back in nearly every category that made him valuable. Expected batting average down, slugging down, weighted on base average, expected weighted on base average down, barrel rates down, average exit velocity, all down across the board. And in terms of, I mean, just pure raw numbers, his overall slugging percent is the lowest it's been since, I think it was 2018. Getting on base just barely, not even 31% of the time, while striking out 31% of the time as well, was just not what you could have from Teoscar Hernandez, who among 16 right fielders this season was among the bottom 3 in once the season shook out. When you look at FWAR, strikeouts, WRC plus, not what you want.
I gave Teo a C, not a C minus, and this was the worst offensive season he's had since 2019. In 20, in 21, in 22, he was awesome. In fact, he was crushing left-handed pitching. But what did he do in 2023? At least against lefties, he was still good. He wasn't top 3 in baseball good. He had a 120 WRC plus against southpaws this year. Again, just against lefties. Again, that's fine. It's not anything special. When they traded for him, he was legitimately a top 3 bat against lefties over an elongated period of time. He didn't do that this year. He also had some real problems hitting at home in T-Mobile Park, despite an offensive profile that is revolved around hitting the ball hard. He did not hit well inside of Seattle's ballpark. And he just struck out way too much, and he walked too much. This is not the Teoscar Hernandez they traded for. When they traded for Teo, they thought this guy had a chance to be the second best bat behind Julio. That wasn't the case, and it was a pretty disappointing season at the plate for him.
You go from second best bat behind Julio to essentially a league average hitter. Oh, and by the way, Teo, whether intentionally or not, made his his home numbers more visible to a lot of Mariners Twitter. So he, in case you missed it, somebody tweeted out his home stats, then his away stats. His away stats, I think he had like a 126 WRC plus in the season. Home stats, he was just terrible. And then someone in Spanish commented underneath something along the lines of time to buy new properties, buy new properties somewhere else. And Teo liked it. And of course, people who have way too much time look at Teoscar Hernandez's likes and see what he liked. And he ended up liking that tweet. And people were coming to the conclusion pretty fast. Oh, well, looks like Teo's not coming back. So he was highlighting the fact he did not hit well at T-Mobile Park. However, there's a problem, something that just kind of sticks with me here when Teoscar does that. Like, T-Mobile Park doesn't prevent Teoscar Hernandez from striking out over 30% of the time. Like that's my big issue, where we saw his strikeout rate get exponentially worse. He chased more this season than he ever has in his career. That's something he controls. And yet he chased out of the strike zone more than he has in the past few seasons with the Toronto Blue Jays, and it hurt his offensive numbers. So it can't only be the ballpark. Other guys hit well at T-Mobile Park. It just seems to be a problem for people who want to make it a problem, if that makes sense.
So it wasn't just any random person that tweeted those numbers out. That was Teoscar's agent that tweeted those numbers out.
Well, that's more important.
It was Rafa Nieves, his agent, who may or may not also be Luis's agent. I think they might have the same agent. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. So he tweeted those numbers out, and then he got some reply that said in Spanish, "Go buy a new property." And Teo liked that reply tweet, which, by the way, Teo gets a C in my book on the field. He gets a C minus in your book on the field. His Twitter awareness gets an F, because this is not the first time this year that I have seen people on Twitter highlighting that Teoscar Hernandez seems to have no idea that his likes are public, because he's liked some kind of wild stuff on Twitter this year. And people find it because, like you said, some of these Mariner fans have too much time on their hands and they see it. Like there was points of this year where, remember that walk-off double off the wall that Teo hit against the Blue Jays?
Yeah.
And after that game, somebody tweeted out, Teoscar wants to be here, like in all caps, with him walking it off in the video, and he's all fired up. And he liked that tweet. And then he likes a tweet a couple months later that says, "Go buy a new house." He likes that. So first he gives everybody an impression of, "Oh yeah, this is great. I like I'm trying to give people like fake signs that I want to stay." And now he's trying to give people signs, "Oh, I actually want out." And that is not the only thing that people have dug up in Teo's likes this year. He just likes some wild stuff that people are like, "Dude, do you know your likes are public?" Like people can see it. It's not like Instagram where it takes way more time to scroll through and see what you're liking. It's right out in public, buddy. So your Twitter awareness gets an F.
So in summary for Teoscar Hernandez, struck out his strikeouts regressed, chased more than he ever had. His Twitter awareness is as bad as ever. His what else? Oh, and then there's this alarming stat I dug up, Lyle. So he raids out sprint speed wise in the 82nd percentile, yet on the base paths, second percentile in base running run value for a guy who's supposed to be pretty fast. That counterbalances your strength. It's like having all this power in your bat and swinging and missing a ton, so you don't get to unlock it often enough.
Yeah. So I just confirmed this, by the way. Nieves is Luis Castillo's agent too. So him and Teoscar do have the same agent. I just wanted to confirm that to be sure. But yeah, this is not the guy they signed up to get. You knew you were going to deal with strikeouts. You knew he wasn't going to walk a ton, but he was supposed to provide way more pop and way more impact in the middle of the lineup than he did. And it didn't happen. I'm not saying I wouldn't do the trade over again, him for Eric Swanson. Now that is with hindsight being 2020 in the sense of we don't know what Teo's going to do at the time that the Mariners trade for him. So the trade still made sense. You said it way back when we started this podcast, and that was one of our first few episodes. If you have a chance to trade a reliever for proven offensive talent, 100 out of 100 times you do it. And I agree with that. That also does not excuse the fact that Teoscar Hernandez, much like the Mariners, underperformed expectations this year and just wasn't good enough for what the team needed.